Just in case you clicked on this video and you're still an anime only of Attack on Titan, or if you know it by the Japanese title, Shingeki no Kyojin, then I recommend you not to continue on with this video. And if for some reason you're not up to date with the manga as well, once again I want to say, do not continue with this video because there's going to be a lot of spoilers, like a lot of world building in this chapter, and also stuff that really just reveals so much about the foundation of Attack on Titan. And so, if you're an anime only, or if you're not up to date with the manga, and somehow you found this video, do not continue on. So, with that being said, let us begin. So, the Attacker Titan. The title drop. Damn. That was something I love seeing in any type of manga I read. I fangasmed when I saw that in Tokyo Ghoul. I fangasmed in other series I have seen, read, and watched. I've been now seeing it in Attack on Titan. And I guess, actually, if you think about it, the title Attack on Titan doesn't make any sense. Only Shingeki no Kyojin makes sense, but Attack on Titan kind of doesn't because of the wording with the title drop. But regardless, though, Shingeki no Kyojin had a title drop, the Attacker Titan. And it pretty much references our main character, Eren, and his Titan shifting power since the very beginning of the series. And it was such an epic reveal, the way it was built up throughout this chapter. Just you have this world building going on between Kruger and Grisha, and you just see these two talking with each other. They're just both saying, like, what they want to do, like, why I'm not worthy of this, why I shouldn't do this, because I'm just a worthless human being. And then Kruger's like, hey, you need to do this, even if you just carry sins with you, you gotta do this. I mean, just the overall chapter, the build up to that title drop was simply fantastic, and that was such a good way to do it. After 88 chapters, I mean, think about this, okay? It's been 88 chapters. I think it's been around, like, 7 years, I think? 7 years since Attack on Titan started. So 7 years and 88 chapters. It's been 88 chapters for 7 years of Attack on Titan. And finally, after this long period of time, we have gotten a title drop for Shingeki no Kyojin. So, yeah. Well done, Shingeki, well done for that title drop this month. I mean, that was really good, rather surprising, but really good. So with that being said, let's talk about the true, I guess, beef of the chapter, like the real information we got. So, we get to see Kruger, or his name by Al, if you know him by Al. Al talks about everything he's been going through throughout his life. For instance, what he's been doing, he's just been a spy in the enemy government, how he's constantly been, chopping people's fingers off, skinning them alive, throwing them down, and making them become mindless titans. He's been doing this for many, many years now, and for the reason why he's been doing this is he's been building up power and finally getting into a position to where he can actually do something. As we know, Al was someone that was with Grisha a long time ago, when Grisha had his sister and all that, and they were going out and they went out the wall, and we know how his sister was killed. Well, we do know Al was there. It was revealed in the last month's chapter, and this man, he states to Grisha, like, if you would have, went on, if I wouldn't have stopped you, maybe your sister would still be alive today. Maybe she would have been able to have her own kids. You would become like your father, and just everything would have been fine. You would have continued on living, everything would have been normal. But I stopped you, and that probably costed your sister's life. And Grisha says, most likely, even if you wouldn't have stopped me, we both might have died. So technically, you saved us. You probably saved me, because if we would have continued moving onward, my sister would have died. I would have died at the same time if you didn't stop me. So in a way, you did save me. And I like how Al, he states, like, that's very nice of you. That's very nice for you to say something like that. But he's like, I don't really need that, thanks. I mean, all the shit I have done throughout my life, all these things. For instance, just your sister is a small pebble on the road compared to what everything else I've done. I've sent thousands of people over this wall to become mindless titans, doomed with their existence. I've chopped so many people's fingers off, tortured them, skinned them alive. There's just some horrific stuff I have done throughout my life. And it's like, that one piece of thanks, it makes me happy, but it's still, I've done way more than that. So we get to see both of these men that are utterly broken, how they have been changed by the way society is. Grisha, as we know, he has had this motive of hatred for a very long time. He wants to take back what is right. He wants to gain freedom for his people. He wants to go in the wall, and he wants to cause a revolt to where, they get the power, and then they can take over the main world's government that, has forced them to be slaves for so long. And we know what's been driving Grisha for so long now, for these past couple chapters. We finally found out his motive, what he has made him drive so far, what he's done so far to actually get where he's at, why he would offer himself up for his son Eren, why he would let Eren eat him in the first place for, you know, Eren could do his job and become a Titan Shifter. We now got all the information we need. For instance, all the Titan Shifters, they have a time limit. And this was the biggest piece of information we got in this chapter, because this lets us know that all of our characters are on a set timer. People that can Titan Shift, for instance, Armin and Eren, or Annie, they all have a time limit. Reiner as well. Everyone has a time limit that has a Titan shifting power. You have 13 years to live, but not all the details were given, so maybe we might find out more in next month's chapter of Attack on Titan. So, the details I'm talking about is that we don't know exactly how it completely works. For instance, with the 13 years, with the baby having the ability of a Titan shifting power, because we now found out that if someone was to die after 13 years, and they never got to give it to another Titan or anyone or any other person, that ability would pass on to someone else. So let's take this for instance, okay? Let's say Eren's reaching the end of his life. He's about to die. And for some reason, he cannot offer up his power. He cannot give his Titan ability or anything up to anyone else for some reason. Just he dies by himself. And so when he actually dies, the power, the Titan power that's inside of him, shifts and goes to someone else. A random person. They don't even need to be connected by blood to him in general, but it passes down to a random baby, and then that baby will gain the Titan shifting power. And this is something that is really interesting, because we don't know exactly how this 13-year time limit works. I mean, does the time limit activate soon as the baby gets the power, or does it activate after the first Titan shifting? For instance, let's say the baby gets the power, okay? Eren dies, a baby gets the power and all that, and it goes on with its life for maybe like 30 years, and then it finally transforms for whatever reason, and it becomes a Titan shifter. Would the time limit for the 13 years begin at that moment, or would it begin as soon as the baby is born? So if that is true, that would mean that there would be points throughout history to where a baby might have the power, and after 13 years the child dies, and then the power is passed on again to a random child, and then another 13 years goes by, the child dies. So there could be many generations to where the power's, you know, passed down, and nobody knows where the fuck it's at, because, you know, every 13 years this child is dying, and it's never got to showcase this Titan shifting power at all. So, I mean, we don't really know the exact details to how it completely works, but it's enough to let us know that all of our characters are on a set time limit. There is the end of the road type situation here, so they have a certain amount of time to work with. And I mean, trying to take back over the world and pretty much gain your freedom, it's not something that's going to be easy. It's something that you could usually do in just an 8-year time. That's going to take maybe decades, and so Eren's time limit is a big problem. And this brings up another question. We do know that Eren has 8 Titans. We know he's 8, you know, another Titan shifter. We know Grisha's 8 a Titan shifter and all that. And so when we think about all these little details, okay, does this mean that the Titan shifters, all of their abilities can go into one? So, as we know, there's 9 main Titan shifters. There's only 9 Titan shifters. We do know that Grisha ate Al, okay? We know Grisha ate Al. We know Al, he, you know, ate someone. We don't know exactly his history yet. That'll probably be revealed eventually. But Al got his Titan ability, the Attacker Titan. And then, right after that, Grisha ate him, and then he gained that ability. And then along down the road, Grisha eventually went after the other main ability, the original Titan power, and he went after the King, got that ability. And so when Eren finally ate him, that would mean that Eren has 2 Titan abilities inside of him fused into one. So that's interesting when you really think about it like that. So does Titan abilities merge together? And if they do merge, I'm curious about the exact time limit. Once again, I want to mention this. We do know soon as you gain this ability, supposedly a 13-year time limit starts. Now, if you were to eat another person that has a Titan shifting power, like, you know, how Grisha ate that man, and how Eren ate him or whatever, would the time carry over? For instance, like, would the time extend? Let's say Grisha had 13 years. He was reaching the end of the ropes before he ate, you know, the King, and he got that ability. Would that add an extra 13 years onto him if he was to eat another Titan shifter? Or would his Titan shifting remaining time still be the exact same? So, like, if he had maybe a year or 2 left, would it stay like that? Or would he get an extra added 13 years added on top of that since he ate another Titan shifter? I'm very curious about that, because from the way the story is going right now, it's kind of letting us know that all the original 9 Titans that have been split up are trying to form into one. For instance, Eren or another character, whoever, is going to be eating people, eating all the Titans to get all the powers into one body, for then they can have the original power of Ymir and have that power that the original Titan had to be able to cause a massive change throughout the world. That's kind of where the plot is going, and if so, that would mean that Armin might die at the end of the series. He might get devoured or something by another Titan. Maybe Eren might have to eat him if the powers have to merge into one, or Eren might have to get eaten or something. I mean, something could possibly happen, but right now, though, there is a timer, and this is a very, very critical moment, because, I mean, you gotta realize, people that know how long they have until they die, they might just give up. It really depends on the person, how they are or what they stand for, because the average human being, if they knew they had a set timer, which we all do in this world, I mean, let's just be real here, we all have a set timer on this world, we all will eventually die, but we just don't know when. But if you're a type of person that knows when you're gonna die, you know you're gonna die maybe in like a week, you know you're gonna die maybe in 2 years from now, you know you're gonna die in 13 years from now, that's gonna add, you know, despair, dread in the back of your head. You're gonna be like, holy shit, I'm gonna be dying, and every day that passes, I'm getting closer, and you're just gonna be thinking about that constantly, and that can really demoralize you completely. I mean, if you're a hardened soldier, you constantly fought for so long, and you find out that your set date is 13 years, and you won't die in a battle of glory, you won't die trying to fight for your people. I mean, you will just die because of this curse, the curse of Ymir, and how your body's just gonna decay. You're probably gonna feel like, what's the point? I mean, I want to just cherish the remaining parts of my life before I die. Why do I want to go out of my way and just maybe die even earlier, instead of just, you know, maybe wanting to live my remaining days in happiness? So, I mean, some people might think like that, knowing about this timer, so it makes a lot of sense why Al would want to hide this, why he would not want to tell others, because if others found out about this, it would obviously make them, if they got the Titan shifting ability, they would know that, like, maybe there's no point. Why would they want to spend the remaining few years fighting when they could just be happy? So, yeah, I understand why it's been hidden for so long. It makes sense now, and it's just, I'm very curious to see what Armin and also Eren is going to be doing after finding out this information. And I mean, we also gotta remember, you know, Mikasa as well. I mean, we gotta remember what she's probably gonna be doing after this. I mean, the way she reacted in this chapter, we see that she's really against it and all that. So, I mean, I wonder if there's any way that this is going to be able to be fixed, or if that's just, you know, how it is. I mean, these characters are destined to die at the end of this series. So we'll just have to see where it goes, what the mangaka writes for us, because, I mean, at this time, though, there's just a lot of things we can guess about this, you know, this ability to this new information about Titans. For instance, passing down the abilities to the 13 years, to the merging of Titan abilities, the attacker Titan. I mean, there's just a lot of information here that we can still speculate about. We just don't have any concrete to really nail all this together. So besides that, let's talk about one line I really, really loved in this chapter. Now, hopefully I could quote it word for word, but if I don't, please forgive me, don't slit my throat. I love when Al stated that I fearfully hid in my closet, and I tried to peek through the look at the world through the closet, like the crack in my closet. I think that's how you word it. I could be wrong. I'm probably completely wrong with that. But what he was saying is that I was sitting in my closet the entire time trying to take a peek at the world, and it's like I didn't really get the full picture. And I'm thinking, like, that's exactly what Attack on Titan is. The entirety of Attack on Titan, that's kind of what it's been about. I mean, since the very beginning of Attack on Titan, Chapter 1, we've all been asking questions. What are these Titans? What's outside the walls? What is really out there? What has caused these Titans to even come about? And we've gotten a lot of information. A lot of this information has finally just been thrown on the table. We now know what is happening here. We don't have the full picture because there's been a lot more world building, but we just now know some of the reasons why some of these characters have done what they've done throughout this series of Attack on Titan. I mean, now we know what's going on with the world, why, you know, they've hid behind walls. We now know about the different type of Titans, their origins and all that, the mindless Titans, and how, you know, Eren and everybody else have been fighting their own people this entire time. They haven't even been fighting the true enemy. So when you look at all of this type of stuff, it's just crazy when you really think about it. And so I just love the direction of Attack on Titan right now, where it's going and where, you know, the writer continues to take it. Just, I mean, it's crazy when you think about how this all started and now you look at it. So, besides that, let's talk about another scene. And it was done with the art of, you know, this chapter, and it's something I might be looking into, like I might be looking into deep, but it still looked really nice to me, and it looked exactly what I think it was about. So, when Al was talking about, you know, the future, freedom, and stuff like that, there was a quick panel to when he looked very young. His face looked young. He didn't have those markings on his face. You didn't see those titan marks and stuff that you saw later on in the chapter. He just looked completely young, and his hair looked, you know, completely fine and all that. He just looked like a young dude as he was talking to Grisha. And this was the side of his face. And on the side of his face, it looked exactly like Eren. He looked exactly like Eren. And right after that, like a panel underneath that, he looked old and feeble. And so it showed you that this man, Eren Kruger, he is actually Eren himself. For instance, Eren, our main character, Eren, he has gotten a legacy from this man. You know, this man, Kruger, he has passed on his legacy to Grisha. Grisha passed on his legacy to Eren, and the reason why Eren has that name in the first place, Eren, was thanks to Eren Kruger / Al. So I love the details of that, how Eren got his name, how, you know, Grisha passed on that legacy, and why Grisha gave up his life in the first place was because he was running out of time, and how he handled the situation with his new son so much differently compared to what he did in the past. If we remember Zeke, he handled that way different. He was willing to rush on in with the Titans and stuff, go and cause, you know, a revolution and just take over and get back their freedom. That's what they wanted to do. That's what Grisha had in mind at the first time. But after his son betrayed him, what happened to his wife and his people, he realized just how fucked up this was. And he handled Eren completely different. He's built him up in a way to where he wants to make sure Eren is ready. He wants to make sure Eren understands the truth of this world, but also not to trust everything in the world. And that's kind of one of the big points of this chapter as well, that even though we obviously want to agree with the side of Ymir, for instance, Ymir-san says she's a beloved person, someone that's very nice, we should also look at it from another perspective. All humans are neutral. Usually, we do good things and bad things. Not all humans are good. That's just the big thing about this, okay? I mean, we do know there's a lot of kind people out in the world. In real life, there's many kind people out there. But even the kindest person has a side to them that might not be completely good. They can have maybe just a minute. Maybe it's just they're a very sweet person, but just one thing. Not everyone is completely good. That's just the truth about it. That's the truth about humanity. And so when you had to where, like, I'm questioning both sides, like, that's how the chapter was, you should question both sides of history. You shouldn't understand, like, you know, like, oh, Ymir is going to be a completely perfect person. She was completely nice. No, you should not believe that, because as was stated in the chapter, he's seen a lot of humans. He knows how humans are, and they're very evil, and they can be good. And so even if Ymir was such a good person most of the time, there probably was sides to her that really made her look completely evil. So I like how the chapter is letting us know, don't trust one side. Don't trust both sides. You just need to piece everything together and try to get to the heart of the history of what really happened in the past. So that's about it. I mean, the chapter really set up quite a bit. I mean, it was just crazy when you think about it, and it makes so much more sense now, well, how sad and tragic Reiner's, you know, entire life was. I mean, think about this, okay? Reiner was gifted, you know, this Titan shifting power, you know, an armored Titan, and I mean, 13 years to live after you gain that ability, you're gonna die very quickly, so yeah, I mean, Reiner's about to die. He was about to die in that fight, if you think about it. His time was running out, so yeah, they didn't have nothing to really come back home to, so the time they probably finished their mission, they might have already been dead. I mean, they wouldn't have been able to do anything they wanted when they finally made it back to the mainland at what they were promised, because they were already fucked to begin with. They only had 13 years left to live. So let me know your thoughts in the comments below. You all have a wonderful day or night wherever you live. Please be safe. Chibi out.